evening, and welcome to the House Beyond the Supernatural podcast, the podcast that goes beyond the supernatural. All music comes from verse 13, Shadow Symphony, and Public Domain. All printing for the podcast is provided by Rainbow Press of Omaha, Nebraska. More details about this podcast can be found on the House of BTS.net. Tonight's cast includes John, the genius and amazing archaeologist, played by Arn. Peter, the parapsychologist, played by Nick. Cas, the psychic medium and astrophysicist, played by Kurt. Sia, the physical psychic and extreme athlete, played by Shannon, and the host of BTS as the game master, Steve.
Greetings, everyone. Welcome back to another night at the House of BTS. I did not receive any letters or mails or bribes or anything this week for supporting the podcast anywhere. So really, the other thing I have to bring up tonight is, with it being the Halloween season, I've been putting extra stuff on the website this month. Ken Burrell's Psychic Serial Killers have been coming back. I got a new monster on it, a couple of adventure ideas, and some other bits and pieces. So we'll be continuing to show up throughout the month. I think that's about it for news on my part, unless one of you animals has something to bring up. Your silence is speaking.
I got nothing.
So in that case, then, everyone get settled and get into character. It is time to go beyond the supernatural. It is afternoon at the warehouse. Several vehicles are parked outside, detailing the amount of activity going on inside. Another vehicle, Dr. Corrigan's to be exact, pulls into one of the remaining stalls in the small parking lot. Hannah, Peter's tech assistant engineer, steps out of the vehicle. Entering through the front door, she doesn't find anyone on the first floor, but detects a notable tension in the air and sounds of activity on the second floor. Going upstairs, she follows the sounds. She discerns that they are coming from two adjacent rooms. Both of them have their doors wide open. Peering into the first room, she sees John, who's sitting at the table with a meal in front of him. She deduces that he was interrupted halfway through his meal by Catherine, whom she recalls as Edmund's wife. She's cleaning and redressing a variety of John's wounds. She acts with both care and experience, her many years of being a nurse and patching up investigators showing. On the other side of the boardroom table are two women she's not seen before. Both of them are eating what looks like high-carb meals, not surprising as both women seem particularly fit and athletic. They speak to each other in a language she doesn't recognize. Russian, perhaps? Looking down the hall to the other open door, she sees Edmund, who's sitting at his desk while talking on the phone. A half-eaten salad sits on his desk in front of him. In a chair to the right of his desk is his assistant Kendra, spinning in the desk chair and reaching over to pull a small stack of papers from the printer. She looks to Hannah, giving her a quiet nod to not disturb Edmund's phone call before grabbing a pen off the desk and going over the freshly printed papers. Edmund notices her actions and looks to Hannah herself, acknowledging her with a quick smile and a nod. Edmund notices her action and looks to Hannah himself, acknowledging her with a quick smile and a nod. Thank you, Marina. I really appreciate it. If they do happen to turn up, could you send me a quick text, please? Great. And yeah, if I hear from Lucy, I'll tell her you said hello. Okay, I'll talk to you soon. Goodbye. And with a beep, he hangs up the phone and places it on the stack of papers on his desk. So, Hannah, it's good to see you again. I take it you were able to get Peter's van without an issue?
Yeah, I had a friend from school drop me off after class. We got lucky. There was already a couple of parking tickets under the window wiper by the time I got there. If it had been out there any longer, it would have probably been towed.
Great. Thanks for doing that, Hannah.
I'm just glad Peter gave me a key so I could drive it here. Speaking of, have you heard from him yet?
Unfortunately, no. Not a word from him or Cass yet. I was just talking to Marina. She's a detective at the police precinct in the area, as well as a longtime friend and paranormal investigator. She tried to locate their cell phones and they're just not showing up. But that could be because they ran out of power. But don't be alarmed yet. Investigators go missing and are found more often than you think. In fact, I'm arranging a search party now for them now. We're just waiting on one more investigator to show up, who should be here any minute.
What does he mean investigators go missing all the time?
This is why I'm glad he's in the other room. So I'm sure,
What? What? What do you mean? I'm gonna turn into a zombie? I'm turning, man. I'm turning. I don't know what's gonna happen first. I got babies or turn into a zombie. Maybe both.
Getting up from his office chair, Edmund encourages Hannah to follow him to the boardroom. Taking stock of everyone, he says, "Hey everyone! First off, Zia, Alina, I'd like you to meet Hannah. She's Peter's tech assistant and engineer. Hannah, this is Zia and her business manager and agent Alina."
Hello, Hannah. It's nice to meet you.
And she gives a simple likewise with a nod to you.
Vodka.
So, Hannah, since neither you or Shannon, for this matter, knows what she looks like, Hannah is the common look of a 20-something college student. Her blonde hair has streaks of electric blue in places, while wearing a University of Seattle hoodie over jeans and comfortable shoes. So, again, with a simple smile, she says likewise. And Zia, she is yet another face for you today. You've only met John and Kendra and Edmund about an hour ago, and Edmund's wife, Catherine, maybe 20 minutes ago. The two aspects of Catherine's character that stands out the most is that she's obviously several years younger than Edmund, likely in her 50s, and has a caring paternal nature about her.
Edmund's a pimp.
You weren't surprised to learn that she's a nurse. And after the introductions, Edmund continues. I just got off the phone with Marina. There's nothing going on at the precinct to make her think that something's happened to Peter or Cas, although the investigative work on the burning yacht has had all the attention today. If she hears anything, she'll let us know. A repetitive honking of a car horn is heard coming from outdoors. Ah, he's here! What good timing! Please follow me, everyone. Just gonna quietly get up. All right.
I get up and follow.
Yes, there. That's what I'm looking for. Just a little. Yeah, I will get up and follow.
Yeah, okay.
I need to get that button for Nick. Go. I do the thing. I need to get that for each. Just a button. I do the thing.
I do that.
I do the thing. I fucking do the thing. That'll probably be Arnie's.
I do that.
I do that now.
Fuck it. That'll be your alternative button.
It can be used in a variety of ways. many ways. Positive, negative, it can be a verb.
He uses the word quite well.
Making your way outside of the parking lot, a U-Haul rental sits in the middle of the lot. Stepping out of it is a tall and broad-shouldered man in his mid-30s at most. His dark hair is cut short, just enough to reveal his widow's peak. His short beard is about the same length. It's likely he shaved his head bald along with the beard and hasn't shaved it again in at least a week. He wears a leather biker vest over a white undershirt, revealing bare and muscular arms. Both are covered in tattoos. A few of the tattoos are marred by scars that showed up after the tattoos have. His lower half is dressed in a pair of bootcut jeans and a worn pair of sturdy-looking biker boots. He slings an old worn duffel bag over his shoulder, alongside with a worn canvas baseball bag carrier over the same shoulder, while juggling a set of keys in his right hand. Looking at you all as you exit the warehouse, he zeroes in on Edmund. "Afternoon, hoss," he says with a deep voice accentuating a thick southern drawl. "Afternoon, Zane. I'd like to introduce you to a pair of new recruits that'll be joining you in your search. Everyone, I'd like you to meet Zane. Zane is one of the better psychic diviners, manhunters, and trackers I've ever had the pleasure of working with. He's going to help you find Peter and Cas." And with a nod, Zane says, "Hey, y'all.
Watch this."
Looking to Zia, he gets a wide grin and says, "Daggone, you're a tall drink of water, ain't you? What's your name, sugar?"
Zia.
Mm-hmm. And with far less enthusiasm, he looks at John and says, "Hey, and you are?"
Your worst
Well, you can't tell.
Your worst
Read my mind.
Says, "I'm a diviner, son. That's a sensitive shtick." Looking back to Edmund, Zane begins walking around to the back of the U-Haul and says, "All right, Hoss, so I got this rental, and I went to the storage place, and I got this thing like I asked for, but I'm a little confused by it. Are we taking prisoners? Are we going on a shark hunt? If so, we're going to need a bigger boat." With a smile, he raised the shutter on the back of the U-Haul, revealing a metal shark-proof cage and a motorcycle inside. Pulling out the ramp of the U-Haul, Zane goes about getting his motorcycle out of the back while Edmund explains the situation. Well, early this morning, a trio of investigators, including John here, went out to investigate a report of the Lazo Society site that a supernatural creature was spotted downtown by Elliott Bay. Following that vague report, they decided to search the storm drains along the bay. Down there, they confronted what is best described as biped aquatic creatures with a head and mouth that resembles the payara fish, or the vampire fish of the Amazon basin. They ambushed the group, and as they were looking over the corpse of a man they found at a junction in the storm drain, per John's report. And during that scuffle, John explained to me that one of them grabbed him and teleported the both of them out into the middle of the bay. I'll leave John to tell you the result of all that, but he was separated from the other two, and we have not heard from Peter or Cas since.
I'm pretty sure they're dead.
He's hoping.
So, cut. We'll go over the scene. All right, Cas and Peter lie dead on the ground. Back to you guys. Start rolling new characters, you two.
See, Nega Psychic.
There's not a lot of people I would trust doing a negative. I think you can do it. You and Arnie, I think you're one of the few. Maybe one of the, maybe a handful of people I think that could really pull off a Mega Psychic. Kirk's a little too green for that yet, in my opinion. I don't know, maybe.
No, probably not.
Certainly not with a Russian accent.
I need to deal with Zia first.
Yeah, get your, dip your toes in first. You don't have to, go splashing. So you're rolling his motorcycle down the ramp of the U-Haul. Zane says, "So, Hoss, why the cage?" Edmund says to Zane, here we go. Edmund looks to John. Would you care to explain what happened between you and the creature?
Zia will giggle a little bit.
No.
Well, then I will keep that private. Thanks. Exactly. This next clip. Here we go.
Just trying to save us some time.
Well, no, hey. After I heard I heard what Nick was talking about with the sound check of last week. That's kind of why part of the recap for those of you listening right now. So, those had a hard time hearing what was being said last week. That was kind of a rough recap. I do it for you guys because I love y'all. Oh. Yeah, see? If you pay attention, if you pick up on the hints I'm laying down, man. Come on, Arnie, I was trying to recap for the fans. They're like, now everyone's like, what the fuck happened to John? Because they don't know. They couldn't hear. But no, you would think about yourself, don't you?
He's
well,
too
that's why I
selfish
don't
to
have
think
first
about
aid.
anybody else. Damn it! You stole my line.
Oh, shit.
Asshole.
Oh, man.
I'm too selfish to take first aid. We're all gonna die.
You're gonna die. How much you're in a zombie?
I have personal first aid. Self-aid.
Self-aid, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That sounds completely different. Not something I put on your character sheet.
I'm a little more interested in Zane than I am.
Oh my. Could romance be in the air? Direct hit, Cupid.
Jesus Christ, you guys can get a trailer right
What is
now.
this, Love Line?
Smite's house. It's going to be amazing.
I didn't know we were
I bet
playing
this guy
Love
has like
Connection.
a couple of cars up on blocks somewhere. Motorcycles in pieces. A lot of dead beer cans.
It's kind of chilly in here.
Edmund continues on. So, after doing some research through Lazo Agency files, I got in touch with Professor Gamboa, a historian and expert on Incan history and mythology. And after talking with her, I convinced her, and she's on her way here now from Mexico to help us solve this problem, but not before she explained to me that we're going to need to capture one of these creatures alive. Luckily, the one that John dealt with this morning is still alive. It's also fortunate that John and Cass went missing in the same area you're all going to look for one of these creatures, as it needs to be taken alive, and that's what the cage is for. So, in short, saying, between your tracking talents, Zia's talent for wrestling and grappling and pinning people, and John's familiarity of the creature and the location the two went missing, I'm hoping to resolve this situation quickly. But before you go, this Dr. Gamboa just sent a file on these things to Kendra to get some further details about them. Looking to Kendra, Dr. Smythe says, Kendra, would you be so kind as to share the more pertinent details about these things? Playing the role of Kendra tonight, as well as Hannah, is going to be Shannon. Got a full page for you this time. Make Kendra your own.
Do it in your Daphne voice.
Doing your Daphne voice.
Sure. I've only had. No, I'm just kidding.
Ghostbusters.
That'll be fine. Do
That'll be fine.
your Daphne.
Do your Daphne.
Whoa!
Ah!
Good job, guys.
What just happened?
Was that me?
Are we still all here?
Hello.
We're
Yeah.
good.
Hey, what
Okay.
happened?
I don't know.
We had some feedback.
Makes me glad I don't use a damn thing.
Freaking fork.
Ominous music.
Freaking fork happened.
This takes forever. Okay, ready?
That's what she
I'm
said.
gonna take this off.
Like you're an auctioneer. Just.
Are you?
Are you?
Are you
Sure, I only had time to skim over the file, but
Are you done yet?
no.
That's what she said.
Do it like the Micro Machine guy.
Never gonna
Do it without doing it.
But it's like my machines, it's not the real thing.
Okay.
No breaths. All in one breath.
It's all you,
I
Shannon.
have to do Spanish.
No, you don't. Well, not like a word, okay? Like
Hey-ho.
there's 4 words in
What's up,
Spanish in
buddy?
that whole paper, I promise you.
Sure. I've only had time to skim over the file, but I've underlined a few notes. These creatures are called Los Hijos de Quama, or the Children of Quama, which is a rough translation from several
What?
Quechan languages of Andean people in South America. In
No more big
shorthand, the
words.
lore reads that a woman and wife named Koima desperately wanted to bear children, but after many years of being married with no offspring, she prayed to Pachamama, an Incan goddess of fertility. The goddess heard her prayers and came to her, telling her that she's been blessed and will now bear many children with her husband. However, Quama, knowing that she's now blessed, believed that her children should be born as royalty of the Incan Empire. She seduced a prince of the empire and bore him a child. When her adulterous affair with the prince was discovered, she and her child were taken by priests who planned to sacrifice them to the gods to atone for her adultery and her ill-conceived child of royalty. As the priests called out to their gods, telling them of Quima's crime and of her punishment, one of the gods listened and became angered by her actions.
God damn it!
When Supay, a god of death and ruler of the underworld, had heard of her treachery and that she and her child were to be executed, Supay didn't want her in his underworld. So he placed a curse upon Quaima and her unnamed child, turning them into immortal and hideous demons before banishing them to a pocketed away hell, nearby but not associated to his underworld. This way, she would be trapped forever and never get into his underworld.
Damn.
It's said that while she's unable to escape this place, her child has royal blood and is therefore closely related to the gods and therefore blessed with its own powers and managed to escape this hellish world. This child, like its mother, was filled with the same insatiable desire to bear children, doing so by infecting man with its blood. These things are reported to be incredibly fast swimmers, being amphibious, and impregnates males via hollow tubes in their claws that are used to pass embryos through them via egg sacs in their forearms. Once inside, the embryos incubate and grow over a matter of a few days before suddenly exploding to life and rapidly growing, ripping, tearing, and bursting out of the host body, killing the host in the process. There are usually dozens of them in each host, whom after exiting begin attacking and eating each other until only a few of the strongest remain. They grow into adulthood within a matter of hours, ready to begin impregnating others. They're also known to care for the host and protect them until their young are born, or for lack of a better term. As far as removing the embryos from a host, this requires collecting the ichor from one of Kwama's children as its key ingredient needed in a potion created during a ritual. There's also a note here about a second type of child born out of the body of the deceased, but I'll have to read the file more thoroughly to know more about these.
Well done, Shannon.
Sorry.
No, you did fine. I threw a lot of weird words at you, and you came through pretty well. Mostly intact. So.
You gotta let me pre-read these first.
Well, I like keeping you on your toes.
Fly.
I'll leave that on the table in case someone needs to do a quick catch up. Of course, I'll be adding to that over time. But that is true.
Peter and Cas are surely going to die.
Who's gonna die?
It's going to be bombad.
Fucking out of here.
Yeah, dude, you had to go there, didn't you? Jar Jar's a bridge too far, okay?
No, I was thinking of South Park.
It sounds too close to Jar Jar for my
Longer
care.
uncut.
Because then I heard the bombad, and I can't do it, man.
Fractured butthole.
South Park or not, it's too Jar Jar for me, alright?
Alright.
Just don't go there anymore, I can't take it. Misa can't take it.
Misa have no balls.
Christ. I would like to add on a side note that inspiration comes in many different forms, and actually part of this Children of Kwama thing, Nick might remember, if you take the Wayback Machine, probably to about 10 years ago, you went to a convention somewhere, and you picked me up a book. It was like a pictorial history of the supernatural. From like 10 years ago, I was thumbing through that so far back, and that was actually one of the starters of where this thing came from. So your book inspired me almost a decade later. So thank you for that.
Yeah, no problem. That book was awesome.
It's a great book. It really is.
So like faded and worn in.
Oh yeah, it's a prop just holding it, and then all the crap in it's pretty damn good. So
This sounds like, chiming in here, this kind of sounds like an apocalyptic epidemic type thing going on here, and if I wasn't infected, I'd consider killing everybody in this group just so it can happen to bring on the apocalypse, because that would be awesome.
Save that for the game.
Way to tell everybody
GM's
what
not
you're
really
going
sure
to
where
do.
to go with that info right now.
It's a good thing I'm infected.
It's a good thing he's not Doc Baldwin.
Dr. Baldwin would definitely want somebody to hatch.
Oh yeah, he'd probably want you all to hatch.
Would probably have you two in a cage, the shark cage.
You two would be in the shark
Yeah.
cage.
You'd definitely be in a room somewhere.
Just watching the clock should be any time now. Tell me, how do you feel?
Like shit.
What kind of shit?
Like I'm about to give birth to a dozen baby.
Excellent.
I was gonna swear.
I said, someday you may get a Baldwin cameo, and God help you all.
Nope.
Because I gave him 5 minutes with Zia in the room before she'd squash his head like a big zit. Pretty much. So after Kendra finishes going over the file, Edmund says, well, if there's no more questions, then John, I'd like you to accompany Zane in the U-Haul to share more of your experiences this morning with him. And
I don't feel well. I don't want to ride in that thing. It's got terrible suspension. Maybe Zia can ride with him. I'd rather ride in a bucket seat.
In that case, John, you'll be riding with Hannah in Peter's van. Should we find them, they will need transportation back here.
All right, I'll drive.
Is Fishman with the girl best idea? What if you burst?
You dead.
What if we just don't think about that?
Let's think positive. So, should we find them again, they'll need transportation back. But in the meantime, I need to prepare the warehouse for a ritual, and then I'm off to the airport to pick up Dr. Gamboa. Good luck to you all. Unless you have any other questions or thoughts before we go.
Sia climbs in the front seat.
You driving then?
No, I thought I was just riding.
Oh,
with
you're
that
okay.
two-man.
Shotgun, but well, it's a U-Haul. You really got you the front
She's
seat over
riding-
the back
She's
space of the
riding
U-Haul.
Tattoo Man.
You could sit in the shark cage, I suppose.
I think I'll ride on top like Team Wolf.
That was a pretty obscure pop reference to throw in, especially for a Russian gal. I like it.
It's new #1 hit movie.
Yeah.
Just come out.
Eat favorite in home country. Just came out.
We erect a giant statue of Mr. Fox.
He was in other recent movie, Back to Future. Do you know it? If not, you should see it. He's good. Alright, so yeah, John and Zia, both of you have healed 4 STC since your encounters early this morning, and Zia, all of your ISP that might have been spent last night has recovered. If you had any I don't recall if you did or didn't.
Yep.
That'd be 4 hit points first.
4 hit points first, then STC, you got it. Now, the big moment we've all been waiting for. What became of Peter and Cas? Peter, Cas, your lifeless bodies lie on the ground. You are both dead. Roll up new characters.
Okay, give me a little bit. Thanks.
I'm willing to bet you two will never miss a game
I'll
again.
We missed one game.
Yeah,
One game!
man.
And we're dead.
Here we go. Peter and Cas, though both of you are battered, bruised, bleeding, and exhausted after your fight with those fish creatures, John is nowhere to be seen. Cas, you finally have a moment to get a good look at your arm after that thing's mouth clamped down and its long, sharp teeth sinking into it. It's an ugly wound that hurts like hell and is still bleeding. And Cas, or Kirk in this case, you have suffered a significant damage to your arm. Until it's had time to heal or you acquire good painkillers, you must reduce your physical and hand-related skill performances by 30%, and you suffer a penalty of -1 to both your strike and parry. You will also subtract 1 from your hit points due to blood loss. Hopefully you're still alive.
Yeah. It's been so long, I don't remember how many hit points I had.
1.
I had 1.
Yeah,
Damn
you
it.
had 1.
I'm dead.
Oh no, you can go actually. Well, okay. Palladium rules state you can actually go into the negative of your PE points before you are officially perished. So going into 0 means you would go into a coma.
It's getting dark. I see a light. Hi, Mom. I never knew you.
That's your inspiration.
Jesus Christ.
Okay, I'll check it out in a moment. Peter, memory serves, I think you actually had the foresight to take first aid, and I think I remember you in a previous episode that you had brought down your first aid kit with you. So you can try to bandage that thing up from losing any more blood loss issues.
Yeah, I don't know.
I'm bleeding, man. Come on, man. Help me out, man. I'm bleeding.
Yeah, you didn't run away from me, so that's good.
No, I'm not John. John ran. I tried to save you.
Well, to John's credit, neither one of you ever actually saw him run away, per se. Just one minute he was
We
there
knew.
beside you, the next minute he was not.
We know the coward ran.
We've known him for 3 days. He ran away.
He was trying to run away.
That's
The
good.
last thing I remember
But in his
he
his
jumped
defense,
over-
he
he jumped-
didn't.
he jumped over Peter running like a little pansy,
Perception's reality in this case.
screaming, "Oh my God! It's fish people!"
I don't think it's inaccurate.
I didn't. If you noticed, I couldn't defend you on that one. I do try in his defense, but I had nothing on that one.
All right, let's try this first aid on this. Let's try it.
Give me a 2 out of 3 successful attempt.
26.
That sounds like a success.
I got a 55. And a 24.
Excellent. Want to go for a hat trick?
Yeah.
Yeah.
34.
See,
Nice work.
3 out of 3.
I guess he is a doctor.
You really are a doctor.
You really are a doctor.
A lot of weapons in there.
What?
You lost me
I
there.
got a lot of weapons at the orphanage.
You're a doctor. No.
You should try to
We had to
complete
learn to
that
keep it-
sentence entirely from now on. Just, yeah, I got a whooping.
Got a whooping.
All right.
Got a lot of
And
weapons.
I don't sound so excited about it when you cut it out. Ooh, I got a whooping.
I got a whooping.
Yeah. There's a lot of weapons in the orphanage.
Yeah.
I can't keep Peter's voice because my voice is busted.
I got a busted voice. I got a cold.
I feel your pain. Well, in that case, getting a 3 out of 3 to bandage him up with, you both can start making your way back out of here, or you can look for John. It's your choice.
We gotta get to Dr.
Let's spend a good 45 minutes looking for me. Sounds like a good idea.
I don't want to die, man. We gotta find him. I don't want to die.
Well, I'm not doing too bad, so I think we should look around. You should probably get out of here. Psych! Let's get out of here.
Good call, man.
So you're
Good
deciding
call.
to egress the storm drain.
Let's get out of here and try to find Dr. Smythe. Try to make it back to the warehouse, man. Come on. I got fish-eating humans in me.
Does your phone still work?
The GM would like to ask Cass, how do you get fish-eating humans inside you?
I'm delirious, man. Don't try to analyze my thinking at this moment.
The GM abides.
We're in Seattle, man. There's a ton of fish-eating people here.
People eating fishes.
Don't you mean San Francisco?
Never mind.
Trying to put that together.
I'm
I
trying to
heard
figure out where he's going.
No, I
I'm
hear
not
where
sure.
you're going. No, I follow it. But Arnie and I are on a. Yeah, it's probably too many years of spending time with each other is why I'm picking that one up. It's like I said, he recognizes me when I sound like my dad. None of you other guys can say that. Yeah, we're pretty close, he and I. Like I was telling you, Shannon, we go back, since we were like 4 years old, man. We've been around the way. Where was I? Yeah, you both begin making your way back through the ankle-deep water of the storm drain.
I don't think I should drive, man. You know what happened the last time I drove.
We're not letting you drive ever. Ever.
Good call, man.
You
Good
probably did kind of lose your privilege.
You can drive Dr. Smythe's car from now on.
No,
You're not driving mine.
Driving Dr. Smythe's vehicles, what's got him into this?
I know.
situation?
It's already broken.
Smythe ain't gonna let him back into that
It's already
again.
busted. He can't do any more damage to it.
Until he gets it. I mean, you gotta fix that eventually. If you notice, I didn't state it specifically. If you noticed, I did make sure that no one was driving in the Demon Knight today. It's the U-Haul and your van, because, the other one is inoperable right now.
That has to be the inspiration. That's going to be his next character.
Sexy
I
foot.
so deem it.
Yeah, well, if he deems it. I'll look at my next chance here. Where were we? You begin making your way through the ankle-deep water of the storm drain. Then, inexplicably, the floor goes out from under you.
You fucking douche.
No, it's not that. It seems more like you're falling into a pool of water, or perhaps turning into water yourselves as you splash into the rainwater. Before you realize it, you're both submerged in murky water, and neither of you can swim.
Sound like a murloc.
Got my helmet on.
Hannah has not had the time to install an air filtration system to her yet.
We're gonna die.
It still has a little bit of an air bubble in it.
Where the hell you
Got that.
Oh, yeah.
So, mental note, should you survive this, have Hannah install.
I want a seal and an air filtration.
breathing apparatus into oddball.
It's gonna turn into like Black Manta.
Well, obviously you need it. You know? The oddball's kind of being built out of necessity these days.
This is how it ends.
Necessity is the mother of invention in this establishment.
In dark, murky water.
Case in point, we needed a strong Russian missile, so Zia was fabricated for that purpose. And the world has not been the same since.
I gotta remember that Peter has his helmet on. I can't talk like him. This is how I came in this world. This is how I'm leaving it. Wet.
So just making sure your response from each was okay. Flailing around in the water, your hands rise out of the water, finding something solid to grab onto.
You can grab it and try to bring myself up.
Yeah, me too.
Grab it, start pulling yourself up.
I don't care what it is. I'm grabbing it.
Just grab it and hold it. Doesn't matter. Yep. Hey, what are you doing?
Yeah. Hey, that's not yours.
Can a guy take a piss in this lake?
Thanks, dude. That thing's a lifesaver.
Oh my god, I think I just found the inspiration for my next.
Considering where we were just going with that, I'm kind of terrified to ask.
Oh yeah.
He will have a life-saving penis.
His penis is 13 feet long. You
That sounds more like life ending.
You can do it. For you, maybe.
No, I can see some bad things happening. Imagine getting that caught in the door.
Why don't you undo that bowl and let me get to know you better?
Everyone's always asking me, why you always holding up your things? It will be rude to let it drag behind me now, wouldn't it?
There's his name.
Fuck.
I'm getting a little terrified to look. Speaking of which, I was going to bring Nick next chance I get. I forgot to grab it tonight because I was lawnmower hunting. I'll bring back Arnie's sketch and maybe you want to frame it and put it on the wall down here or something.
Oh, yeah.
It doesn't seem right for me to hold that belongs here somewhere. Then eventually we'll need to have one with Zia. I can't wait to see what a sketch of Zia is going to look like through Arnie's eyes.
Looks like he's like 500 years old.
Yeah, the 500-year-old meatloaf looking guy that Cas is.
Because I would do anything for love.
That's right, that joke's still coming, everyone. We're not done with meatloaf yet.
There's another one over there.
I don't want this one.
Okay.
Jesus.
He wants
Leave me
my
alone.
book.
Okay.
Leave him alone.
Hang on.
Sworn in and warm.
All right, Nick, you can edit back to here.
Oh, I'm leaving all this in.
What kind of time are we looking at? Just right.
Hour one.
We're at an hour.
Okay, so wow, we're not getting far. We're having a great time doing it. Apparently, it's gonna be one of those nights. All right, so here we go. Yeah, pulling yourselves up instinctively out of the water and gasping for air, you realize that you've both been holding on to what looks like thick vines.
Oh.
Oh no.
Looking,
I've seen this movie.
I've seen this cartoon.
Where
Looking
does this
upwards, hundreds of these vines dangle from tall trees that are so full of vegetation that they're blocking out most of the sunlight like a canopy.
Where the hell are we?
I don't know. Where are we? I'm lost. Do we come out in Munchkin?
I think Swamp Thing's around that corner.
Oh, God.
Whatever's just happened to you both, you've now fallen into some kind of jungle land. The water becomes warm quickly, no doubt from the heat and humidity in the air.
No,
Sorry.
I peed in the water. Sorry.
Ooh, that's warm.
Ooh, yeah.
Thank you. That's warm. Wasn't me.
Just go, dude. Just go.
I've been holding that forever.
Looking ahead, there's a landmass about 40 feet in front of you. You can use the many vines to climb and maneuver yourself your way over to it to get out of the pond or lake that you're currently in. Both of you, make a perception roll, please.
10.
And 10.
One more time. Tie will not work in this case.
10.
3!
10 has it. Peter, you feel something
you
move
suck.
past your leg under the water.
Uh-oh.
The water is much too murky to see into it, however, so you don't know what it was.
Seems familiar.
Let's get out of here quick.
Okay,
Now.
let's go. Let's get out of the water.
Run, run, run.
Swim, swim,
Climb,
swim.
climb, climb.
Dog paddle, dog paddle.
I don't need dog paddle.
I don't swim, I dog paddle.
Both of you are now safely out of the water. I will not require any extra climbing events or what have you. It's probably very awkward looking, very clumsy, but both of you will reach the shore.
Oh, thank God.
Thank God.
Ooh.
Wow.
Taking a moment to compose yourself and standing up, allowing you to look around, you both come to realize that wherever you are, it is definitely not Seattle. It is a land full of jungle swamps. The strange, unfamiliar sounds and animals echo and skip about you overhead. The heat and humidity here is nearly unbearable already. Crumbling stone ruins protrude out through the murky water in places, like remains of some long-lost civilization. Behind you is the large lake you just exited. Ahead of you is a long, shallow lake filled with the bones of long-dead creatures. They look humanoid, but definitely not human.
I'm going to take out my digital camera. It's waterproof.
How can you tell?
From the back, you dummy.
There's that joke again.
Never gets old.
Everybody, go
Watch.
back to episode 2 and 4 and 6, and you'll hear that joke. I'm going to take some pictures of this thing.
Okay,
I need, because these do not look human.
I'm gonna sit here and piss my pants.
It's normal.
Nothing ever changes with you, Cass.
Just kidding.
Good to know your familiarity.
I'm gonna look around.
Yeah, you do that, Casper.
Who the hell is Casper?
You see ghosts, Casper. It's your new name. I'm going to call you Casper from now on.
I thought I was Crash.
We're friends. You need a nickname.
We're friends.
We're friends. You need a nickname.
We're not friends. Do you have a nickname?
You don't want to know what Jones is.
Or do I?
Douchebag Coward.
Haven't made that one up yet.
Sir runs a lot.
Coincidentally, the oddball was very dapper in his bowler hat. We should get a picture of that.
I thought it
Maybe tip it just slightly to the right, you know? I think that'd make a great picture, just throwing that out there.
We'll do some. I'm taking pictures and...
Yes, you are taking pictures. You have photography as a skill, correct?
Yep.
Give me a 2 out of 3 skill attempt for that.
That is an 11. I have a 55. That is a 27. And a 14.
Excellent.
I like these dice.
Yeah, you're rocking your skills tonight. So, Cass, as he's taking pictures of all the unusual scenery, what are you doing at this moment?
I'm trying to figure out.
I mean, you threatened to whiz yourself, but I would hope that eventually your faculties would return up. You have something more substantial.
I'm going to
But maybe not.
try to figure out by the position of the sun what time of day it is.
That will be an impossible feat. The canopy of the trees is too thick overhead to see really where the sun is.
Okay, I'm just gonna cry.
See what latitude I'm at by using the sun and the moon.
I'm gonna
He is an astrophysicist. If
Take
anyone
my
can
finger
figure this stuff out, it's going to be him.
and put my finger in the air to figure out which way the wind is coming from.
We can't see the sun. It's coming from that way.
I'm dubious to how useful that knowledge is, but yes, you do discern the direction the wind is coming from.
I'm gonna look around and see if I can notice a way out of here, or
Well, behind you, for the most part, is the giant lake, as mentioned. We're kind of on something what would almost be kind of like a small swamp, or a small island in the swamp. or at least a high-rise portion and then from beyond here, it looks like about the only way to go is the shallow lake ahead of us, which is where all the bones are in that he is now taking pictures of.
I'm afraid of water at this point. Can I just sit down and stay here until somebody comes and gets me?
You just come back for me when you're ready, right?
I'm done.
It can't go on.
I'm done. No. Okay. Are you done taking pictures yet?
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, that's fine. I got the whole. Yeah, that's fine.
You
It's a
got
digital
one?
camera.
You got one?
Yeah.
You got one picture. This picture was perfect. I don't need to take any more.
I have to look for the right lighting, the
light.
right angle. God.
I use my cell phone to provide extra light.
Alright, so I'm discerning that the only way out of here is through Boney Lake over there.
It's too funny to wait.
All right, let's go.
Alright.
Let's do this. That's the only way out of here.
The saggy ground beneath the water seems to be sticky. Every step you take slowly sinks with each step. This makes walking slow, treacherous, and exhausting. Continually traveling much further like this, exhaustion penalties may start to compound.
Too bad I don't have a raft building skill.
Carpentry or boat building, I think, is another one of those palladium skills that would be strangely useful about now.
Glad I took imitate voices and sounds.
You're getting a lot of use out of that in this place.
I could do speech, public speaking.
Yeah. You just practiced that behind us. It's fine. 4 score and 7 years ago.
Our country set forth the ring.
John, Zia, and Zane. Back in the same area that John was at early this morning, the heavy traffic forces you to pay for parking in a garage.
Whoa. We gotta get to that garage first.
Oh, we do, certainly.
I better roll, just to make sure I don't fuck up his car. For one thing.
You know what? Alright, 2 out of 3 piloting automobile rolls. That's fair.
Oh man, a 13.
That's a bad number.
Ooh, an 81.
Ooh, that's an even worse
above my
number.
skill, I think. Oh yeah, that's a little bit above my skill. That's a failure.
This could be big.
2.
Oh, you drove so great. Unfortunately for you, there's no drama to be made out of.
And while I'm driving, I'm going to open up the center console and take a look what's in there, and pretty much open whatever I can. Just to look around.
You are rooting and tooling around through Dr. Corrigan's private stuff.
Excellent.
Hannah just kind of watches like, what are you doing?
I'm going to wink at her. That's it.
Right. She goes back to her cell phone.
Looking for gum. I'm looking for gum. I got a really weird taste in my mouth from this whole impregnated by aliens monster Incas. All right?
What?
What, you don't believe me? Boy, what do they teach you kids? Jeez. Let's just write in silence, okay?
Sure. With a very nervous look, she goes back to looking at her Facebook on her cell phone. Smartphone. They don't call them cell phones anymore.
On my mobile.
Yeah, on my mobile. So now we get to the point where, you will have to, you'll be forced to park in a garage today.
All right.
And I know this is real because I experienced that in Seattle.
I'm going to park in a garage.
Everyone gets out and beats.
No! Before we get out.
Alright.
I've decided I need to scare the shit out of this girl. Okay? So I'm going to use my full mental affinity for her to get into it. And I'm going to do this whole, chest burster thing. I'm going to, make some, vomit kind of... I'm going to grab her shoulder and be like... And then I'm going to do something really quick and horrible to scare the shit out of her. You know, oh my god, they're coming!
What's your MA percentage?
92.
Alright. I'm giving this a 2 out of 3. And on 6 for the third one. You have scared the holy shite out of her. With a scream, as you're threatening to have something burst right out of you, she bursts right out of the van. You have successfully scared the crap out of Anna.
I'll get out.
Zia, you and Zane are pulling into in one of the stalls, a spot or two away, witnessing Hannah just pretty much jumping out of the van, screaming. And she comes running over to the U-Haul, to your side of window, and she's like, trying to get your attention, smacking on the door for you to roll down the window.
I'll actually jump out and hold on to her shoulders. What's happening?
She's like, oh my god, he's dying in there. You didn't see it. He said something's bursting out of him.
Okay, I'll kind of run over to his vehicle.
And that's when he is getting out of the vehicle.
False alarm. I'm okay now.
What did you do to poor girl?
I thought I was going to have a baby or something. I don't know.
I do not know if I trust you.
You shouldn't.
If I die, I'm going to turn into a zombie, and I've got nasty alien babies in me. You shouldn't trust me. I could burst at any point.
I will squish these babies and then leave you to rot.
That's strangely considerate of her, really. She'll at least squish the babies. I mean, that's something.
Thanks.
Go back over to Hannah.
I'm sure any lesser Russian women out there would just let the babies run free. So I was very considerate of you, Zia.
Dear Hannah, I'll teach you some punches for next time you punch him in the face.
And she gives, under her breath, you kind of hear giving an asshole reference in his direction.
I thought it was coming!
So now everyone can get out and meet at the back of Peter's van. Hannah, keeping a close eye on John now, is drawing the line at going underground in the sewage and the muck. So she's going to stay at the van.
I'll stay with Hannah.
She says, no, you won't. She says, no, you won't.
I don't think I can travel in my condition.
I'm going to give Hannah my number in case she has any problems.
Remember the secret safe words. Tacos are tasty.
Pumpernickel.
Zane, on the other hand, is arranging and checking his inventory and changing out his biker boots for waterproof ones. He pulls out a wooden baseball bat out of the carrier. And Zane lovingly admires this bat, running his fingers over the Louisville Slugger logo. The bat is covered with nicks and dents. It has seen a lot of action. He puts it aside and pulls out what looks like a bent piece of rebar with an extra appendage that's been welded onto it and then bent to resemble a Y shape. He talks to it, saying, yeah, you're the one today, ain't you, baby? I can feel it. He places that next to the bat, and then he pulls out a semi-auto pistol and with his holster and an extra clip, adding it to his belt. So, Zia, what items are you taking into the storm drain with you?
Okay, the truncheon, Kabar, combat knife.
K-bar.
K-bar. I got my smartphone, rope. I need a fucking rope for bottled water and a flashlight, and I think that's it.
John, what are you bringing down into the storm drain with you? Understanding what you went into last time, you are well prepared, at least ideally, for what's going on down there. What could happen? What gear are you bringing with you?
I don't know. Play the tape from the last time we played. So I'm pretty sure we went over it. I think it was the stuff out of my backpack, but I know I got some stuff out of my trunk. I'm going to guess it was my wading boots, because I did not have a fishing cap.
Just as
That's right. You rolled for a fishing cap. You didn't have one. But now it's on your list.
Yeah, it looks like whatever's in my backpack and in the what I just said, wading boots.
You did replace a hunting knife and one of the pistols at the warehouse, because there is a small assortment of weaponry confiscated from various parties at the. Yeah, no, I remember you taking a pistol because you're replacing the one you lost.
All right.
It would have been a comparable, if not exact, model.
I lost their shotgun. Is what I lost.
That was significant though, because that was the only one they had. They had a lot of pistols, but not a lot of shotguns, is what the rolls turned out to be.
I can fix that for him.
Well, it makes sense. You kind of own one now.
What? Only have one?
You did take their only shotgun, and then you lost it. Just saying.
He got me impregnated! Oh, here, you guys have hardly any experience and no physical skills to fight off monsters. Go investigate these giant monsters in the sewer. See what happens.
In his defense, you were looking for an entirely different monster.
Alright, everybody, let's hurry up and find my friends.
Taking the time to move carefully to avoid being seen, John can lead us all to the entrance of the same storm drain he entered early this morning. Since he's the only one of the three who knows where it's at.
I don't know. Can't fucking the Marlboro Man figure it out?
I don't know where the hell you went.
I want to see if he's actually psychic or not.
I'm not that kind of psychic, son.
Well, you're a diviner, right?
I am a diviner, yes.
Well, diviner where my friends are at. Jesus, it's that way. Go ahead, I'll tell you when to turn. I'm not going first.
John has led us all to the entrance of the storm drain he entered early this morning. See ya, the moment you look into the dark tunnel, the hairs in the back of your neck stand up and you feel a slight adrenaline bump. Your ISP level increases by 2. Looking over to Zane, he seems to have a similar response, pulling out the Y-shaped rod from his duffel bag before holding it out in front of him like a divining rod. Yep, someone's down here alright. Maybe it still is. We're gonna cut it there for this episode, folks. They're at the entrance of the storm drain, ready to go back in looking for trouble. What will they all find? Come back and find out next episode. This is GM Steve,
Nick!
Kirk,
Mark.
Shannon.
and Steve again, making a full circle. Thank you again for listening to this episode of the House Beyond the Supernatural podcast, and you all have a good night.
Bye.
See you later.
Say goodbye in order now.
I
Yeah, no,
could if you want.
We usually do it all at one time.
I point at you guys
Goodbye.
for the names. You guys can say goodbye.
You're right.
Your own damn
You're
self.
right. I forget
Bye-bye.
these things.
Apparently, I need to point at you guys for everything.
Okay, bye-bye.
Bye bye.
Okay, bye-bye.
Cut and print. We're moving on.
Turn me up.
Take 2.
Yeah, turn it back up.
Let's go!
I can't hear anything.
What?
Shut up!
How about you, Shannon?
Although Shannon and I did discuss that we think part of the secret to having a better Russian accent for her is she needs to drink a lot, so we're gonna start experimenting with that.
Where's the whiskey?
We've got some vodka upstairs.
Vodka.
What got?
Watched a lot of Star Trek.
No, don't watch it.
Where are the nuclear
You want to
vessels
watch
in
Hunt for Red
Alameda?
October and emulate Sean Connery, because that's...
Oh yeah, his
Yeah,
Russian's
because
brilliant.
his Russian accent was the best. Russia.
All
And he
their
sounded
shit.
like that when he was a Spaniard, too.
An Egyptian Spaniard.
One Ramirez, St. Petersburg.
Guantanamo or whatever shit was.
Then Steve realized he left his glasses at home, so this would be...
You boob!
Why did you do that?
Beast man, you boob! I can fill an encyclopedia with things that you don't know! Oh, Skeletor, still my favorite villain.
Power Girl's legs look like chicken wings.
They look like delicious
That's a-
chicken wings.
that's
Ain't
a
no
random
thing but a
thing.
chicken wing.
I need some hot
That's a
sauce
random
for that
thing to
chicken
throw in
wing.
the middle of a BTS podcast. Alright, second attempt, Nick. Now I'm getting back into it. Getting back into character. Here we go. Quick pause. Since she's distracted, I'm going to have you read a line or two tonight. You get to be the voice of Hannah today.
What's Hannah like?
A Lithuanian accent.
Oh, okay, I'm
Yeah.
on that.
She's Czechoslovakian accent.
You want to talk like
Hannah
this?
is Dr.
like
Corian's
this.
engineer gal.
She's Italian.
You're Italian.
Oi, muy italiano. Oi. Nah, nah.
Your friends pissed all over the floor.
No, just 20-something college. And you don't have to add any accents or anything. So you can just
She's
read
got
the
an
line.
You alright?
It's a matter of will this reach? Maybe it will. All right.
Don't make fun of my voice.
All right.
Why are
here
you
we go.
doing that?
Can you hear me? That's great. Oh my god, that's awesome. Can't you read? Sorry. Totally caught me off guard. That's funny. Pause, Nick.
So I'll do it.
Everyone gets a little of that. Go for it. Did you get that recorded? There's a
Oh, yeah.
There's a nice little monster clip.
ASMR episode. We're doing it.
Here it is. Yeah, I got a new monster sound for you right there. You turn around the corner and there's a creature staring at you and it makes this noise.
A bunch of farting going on.
The guy laughing.
She dies with her bucket in her hand, laughing.
She laughs hysterically. Ha.
Ha. Ha ha.
Steve.
Sweaty balls.
Oh,
Look at the
that works
cotton
too.
balls out
Yeah, I was
there.
gonna say that's a cotton ball holder. I thought.
Yes. I threw them all out because they were all dirty now.
We got attacked by a cotton ball from Sophie.
It's pretty hilarious.
She scared her dad.
Damn,
A
I
whole
missed out on
handful
too
of them.
much here. Any luck? All my scheduled crap will resume. I can get. I can come in and voice villains and crap like you were talking the other day. I'll give you my best Skeletor, or even better, I might have to give you like a villain with a Minnesotan accent. Because nothing's more terrifying than a man with a Minnesota accent.
Yeah, you betcha.
Christ, I'm gonna kill you out there now. Catch on the flipper.
They don't have any accent. Just ask them.
Blindness.
Just ask
You
them.
sound like you're from that movie Fargo.
We're the ones with the accents.
He's a hoot. Alright, where were we? Oh yeah. Alright, getting back in it. He was can't you read my mind?
Good evening and welcome to the House Beyond the Supernatural podcast, the podcast that goes beyond the supernatural. All music comes from Verse 13, Shadow Symphony, and Public Domain. All printing for the podcast is provided by Rainbow Press of Omaha, Nebraska. More details about this podcast, shitball monkey fuck.
Oh, now you gotta do it over.
All of it. Start
You
over.
gotta start over.
What's his color? Oh, wait. It was orange, right?
Orange.
Okay, because that's way too loud.
Way loud.
All right.
I mean, I love your enthusiasm, Marty.
Holy crap.
He says it's too loud.
Welcome.
This way.
Well, then, that moment's going on.
Of the people, for the people, and by the people.
You and more?
I can't decide on an occupation. I thought entertainer at first, like niche porn, but I don't think so.
He's a cam boy.
This is what you're getting. If
I
you
only
kill
take
me.
my pants off if you give me $300.
If you
That's
give
what
me...
I'm getting?
Yeah, that's what
Yeah.
you're getting if you kill me.
Wow. That's such a threat.
I get 600 to take off my right shoe.
Does that mean I'm getting you playing that character? Is that what I'm hearing?
John is
I'm
dead.
going to start immediately wondering how to kill out John the most efficient way possible, because now I kind of want to see that play out.
Hey guys, I'm Kirk. Kirk Duchesne. Oh. My PO told me I might be able to get a job. You don't ever have children around, is what he said. So I got a few pictures. Who does it, right?
Oh, man.
I mean, they weren't mine. He's no mine.
Oh,
I'm glad none of my family members listened.
I'm glad none of my friends listen to this.
Yeah. If I had friends, they'd be really offended right now.
Who's this Kirk guy?
That's my brother-in-law.
Yeah.
Okay.
She's throwing cotton balls.
Where was I? Oh, yes.
John always takes up the rear.
Okay, you're not there for him to respond to that. Otherwise, I probably would have. Yeah, I got an NPC in the bunch now. No, I can get him out if he was. But he won't be a nightmare horse. I'll tell you that. Just saying. That's a reference from another show, guys. Don't worry about it. Or Nick, you can just edit that out.
I'm gonna leave it in there, make people totally confused.
Does,
Like, nightmare horse? What was that?
That could be a future BTS monster, guys. All right.
Does John and
download
Colby,
everything.
It'll be a creature that heals faster than anyone can hurt it.
does John and Colby listen to the show?
No.
No.
My friends don't listen to this.
Screw
You see
My
my
friends
numbers
don't
from Minnesota
listen to
and...
My friends don't listen to all the hard work I pour out to these people.
No, they don't.
them. They don't.
They don't care.
I'm doing it for the fans. I'm not doing it for my family.
They support you. Whatever. For your family or your friends.
Oh, my Lord. Where were we?
I don't know.
How many minutes?
We got
Three.
We just say
We got
that
3
I
minutes
can't
left.
take you to my friends. What's it work for? Like a can of Busch Light or
All
something?
right, here we go.
Miller High Life? What is-
You're probably going to have to cut it off a minute or two early, but I'll get us a stopping point here.
30 stones.
Here we go. This will be our stopping point right here. Last sentence.